And lastly, in this last part of the Getting Started with Squarespace series, I want to show you how to work with different blocks. So let's go to Pages, and we'll create a simple demo page to get us started. We'll call it Demo Page. And as you can see here, there are some starter layouts that Squarespace has that you can use if you're in a bind or in a hurry or simply feeling uninspired and don't know how to lay it out. It's a good way to get familiar with how Squarespace uses different blocks, or how you can present your page in a more elegant fashion, or if you don't want to simply muck around with deciding how your content should be positioned. There are different sections here, so you can create different layouts for galleries. You can create profile pictures or profiles for your team members if you so desire, or you can start from a blank slate, which is honestly my preferred way to do things. So let's start with the blank layout and click on Start Editing. Now, as you can see, you'll notice that there's this box here, which you've already saw in a previous part. It'll start you off by default with a text block. You can either start writing if you know that a text block is what you need. So this is my demo heading, and once you start typing in the demo in the text box, you'll see that there are some formatting options that are available to you. You can bold or italicize the text. You can control the alignment, decide whether it's a normal text or heading 1, 2, 3 or a code. Let's set this to heading 1 and change the alignment to center. You can also add quotes, links, bulleted lists, or change the indentation of the text. You can also paste the text as plain text, which is useful if you're writing your posts or contents for your website in Word or Google Docs. You can also remove all the formatting, and you can remove the block by clicking the trash icon. So we've entered the demo heading. Now let's see how we add another block. You can add another block by hovering over this editor screen and click any of the insert points. You can add blocks above or below. So let's add 2 spacer blocks, and the reason I'm adding 2 is because I want to show you how you can create columns easily. So let's say I want 2 columns. All I did was drag 1 spacer block next to the other, and now when I hover over the content, I can either insert another block that spans the width of the whole page, so both spacers, or I can hover over the second insert point, which will allow me to insert another block directly below the spacer block. So let's add another text here, sample text 1, and let's make it a heading 3, centered, and then we'll add, this is an example sentence. Let's center it. And now when I hover, I can add a button. Here, when I'm adding a button, you can change the text, you can add the URL where it should link to, and you can change the size of the button, whether it's a small, a medium, or a large. Let's go with a small button. And then I can control the alignment, which can be left, centered, or right. We'll leave it centered. And then I'm going to click Apply. And now in here, we can do the same thing, or we can add an image. And let's upload an example image, add this blurred background. And you'll notice here that the file name will be whatever the file name on your computer is. However, you can change it into whatever you want. And then once the image uploads, which is taking a while because it's a rather big image, you can click on Design and select different layouts for the image, which can be inline, which is the default one. And it'll also display the caption, which will be used by the search engines. So you can enter like an alt text for your image, but you can also set this caption not to display, or to be used as an overlay, or an overlay that appears only on the hover. You can also stretch the image or enable lightbox, so basically it'll show up as a small image, and then when somebody clicks on it, it'll expand in a lightbox. The image can also become a link if you want it to link to a particular page on your site. So clicking on that, you can link to your content. So let's say we want to link it to the blog page, or you can link it to any page on your site. You can even link it to files. So you can upload a file here and then, or look for an existing file, and then it'll basically link to that particular file. You can set it to open up in a new window, or you can link to an external page such as Google or Facebook or Instagram, or I don't know, anything else you want. For right now, let's just leave it linked to the blog. Let's enable the lightbox to see how it looks. And here in the theme, you can choose whether you want a dark overlay or a light overlay. And let's click apply. And then you can, once you click on in the editing screen, when you click on the image itself, the image block itself, you can use this dot to control how much of the image should display, whether the entire image or just an itty-bitty one. So keep in mind that if you're using anything else but like a colored background or a blurred background like this, it'll distort your image. So this is not recommended for like logos or people or landscapes because it will distort your image. Another way to add a block is by using this plus sign, and then you can choose which content block you want to add. There are several sections for the blocks, like basic, image layouts, gallery, summary, blocks like forum, newsletter, map, codes, commerce, charts, social blocks, and then there are some premium blocks which are available only on business and commerce plans. Premium blocks include menu, acuity, open table, Amazon, and donations. The good thing about the blocks is that you don't have to remember how a specific block is called. You can simply search for it. The most important ones that you should remember are the text, images, buttons, video, spacer blocks, which we've seen in action here, summary, which are useful if you want to display like a category on your blog posts, and then code and the embed. Basically, blocks allow you to add code to your page. So if you need to embed something, some form of code within your page, you can add it with those two blocks. So let's add a video block, for example. I don't know if they have, no they don't. Basically, adding a video allows you to add a video from YouTube or Vimeo. I was hoping that they would have a sample video, but they don't, so we're just going to use this demo image of a video player. You can add a custom thumbnail for your videos and select that to be as the first thing they see. And again, you can add captions and add a brief description here. We're just going to apply that. And now what I want to show you is basically that you have a lot of control over how blocks display. So let's say I want to put this video in between these two blocks. All I have to do is hover over it until this little hand icon appears, click, and then drag with the mouse to where I want it to appear, and then drop it. And now it appears between these two blocks. If I want to move it below, all I have to do is drag it out, and let's say I want it on the side. I have to go all the way to the side and then decide where I want it. I can insert it here, or I can insert it over to the side. Keep in mind that you see how when I hover, there are two different lines that appear. Well, three. If I drop the video while this longer line appears, that'll push all of this content to the side. So basically, now I've created two columns with all of this. But let's say I didn't want to do this, and let's put it back to where it originally was. Let's say I want to add it to the side of this particular blocks. So to the side of this column that I've created. When the line is shorter like this, I can drop it and then it'll be added and be the same length as the other two columns that we had. Dragging the spacer icon, the spacer blocks, basically allows you to control the width of your columns. So you can create some very interesting layouts simply by dragging how wide these spacer blocks are. Naturally, you can also enlarge the video block like this, as well as the image block like this. So that's how you can play around with blocks. When you're done, all you have to do is click on save, and then your new page is right here, and all the blocks are here. If you want to add more blocks, simply click on edit, and then click any of the insert points to continue adding more blocks to your site. And that concludes this series of getting started with Squarespace. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on videos about Squarespace, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, bye!